And here we go, ABT Live. And tonight it is ABT Live because we're doing this live. We've just had the talk. No swearing, Chris, Lonnie.
Yeah, I promise.
No swearing, Josh.
Yeah,
all right.
No
These are good boys anyway. I'm the one that has to get reined in. I've had the lecture from Nicole, our producer, who is off camera tonight. She's running all the big mixing decks. It's like a recording studio in here, isn't it? Except that is a $20 table off Facebook Marketplace that we painted grey, so it looks good.
I painted it.
You painted it. We painted it with some 80 rust paint, and there are all these bits where you put rack-mounted servers and stuff in there. We got none of that. We just got shit sitting on cardboard boxes, and it's all together. Where's the swear jar? Where's the swear jar? Anyway, welcome ABT Live 46. 46 times we've lined up at night to do that. We started in COVID, and here we are today. It's all about broom fishing this week, and of course it's all about the Samaki Broom Queensland Open. So who better to surround myself tonight with Josh Lowry from Samaki. He's the man who's got your factory. I say it's bigger than Shimano. It's because it's huge down there on the Gold Coast. Well, it's not your factory. It's just your 2,000 pallet racking system you got down there.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris Lonnie, who amongst your tally of events that you won last year, which you nearly need two whole hands to count, one of them was the $5,000 Samaki Queensland Open, mate. So I'm sure you're looking forward to giving back Jeff here and defending this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I took him out of the pool room, aka the garage, and had to sit him up on the dining room table just so I could soak up the possible final week with him for a while. But anyway,
well, the third person we've got in here tonight is Jamie McEwen. He's on the other side of the camera there at the moment. We're going to sub him in at half time once we've milked all of the information out of Chris Lonnie. But you've got Jeff here. We know he's called Jeff because underneath Aaron Sharp named Jeff here. Look. The official name of this broom is Jeff, named by Aaron Sharp. And Sharpie called me last night. I was driving home on the freeway and I got a call from Sharpie. Oh, Morgo, what's going on? He was behind me. He goes, there's a white truck there with broom number plate. I only can be one person. So Sharpie rang up and I said, I've got a live show tomorrow night. Mate, why did you call it Jeff? He goes, just sounded like a cool name. Just going to call it Jeff. So Sharpie, if you're watching, thank you for naming it. Jeff's been at Chris's place for the last year, mate, and we've got the plates made up. It's on the back here, 2023 Chris Lonnie, but have a look at some of the history on this trophy. You probably had time to study it, but we go all the way back to 2007 here. We got names like Brito and Wishy a couple of times, 2007 and 8.
Yep.
Michael Starkey and Dean Sylvester there. There's an unlikely pairing you probably won't ever see again.
Probably not.
Dizzy Borg and Jay Perham, fishing for TT Lewis in 2010. Couple of years in a row there, Tristan Taylor, Dave McKenzie, the Deadly Dentists.
Yeah.
They won it a couple of years, 2011-12. 2013, again, Taylor McKenzie, 3 years in a row they did it. Britton and Wishy again, Taylor and McKenzie again, Aaron Sharp and Steve Eldred. They were always guns on the bay. Taylor and McKenzie again, that's 5 for them. 2 now for Sharpie and Eldred. 2019, went to the individual tournament. Jamie over there in the green room, He was the man. Scott Sandilands in 2020 when he famously tied with Charlie Sakeo. Sorry, Charlie. I know you're probably still stinging from that, but it was a tie and he won on countback, so you came second. Blake O'Grady, Big Fish Blake. In 2021. Reese Harris came all the way up from Victoria and won in 2022, showed the locals what was going on. Why didn't you stop him?
Yeah, I know. That wasn't my year, that one.
Wasn't anyone's year except Reese's. And he took Jeff home. And then Mario got Jeff back for us, and then we gave it to you last year, Chris. That is a fantastic amount of history sitting on this trophy here. And for the people that don't know how heavy it is, Josh, I don't know if you've ever held this.
It's heavy.
How heavy do you think it is? Kilos.
Oh, it's a 5.5 kilo bag.
It is at 6.3 actually, that one there. So she's a heavy unit there. And every year the winner gets to take that home for a while. When Jamie comes along later on, I'll ask him what it was like to have it for a year. And his answer will be, well, you wouldn't know what it's like, Morgo, because you never won it. And that's correct. Us two never won it. These other guys have won it. So great amount of history with that event there. Good to talk about Jeff and have understand why he's called Jeff. No reason at all. And let's talk a little bit about the format. It's not a weigh-in tournament. It's an app tournament, which let everyone follow you winning it last year. Tell us about your second day of the tournament last year, where you had that mad run on fishing boats up at the jumping pin, catching the fish. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it was a pretty hot start to the morning. I rolled in there. I think I didn't get any fish off the first 2 boats, and then rolled up on this boat.
Magic boat?
Yeah, magic boat. It's etched in my mind, that boat. But And then, yeah, literally pulled about 10 bream off it, just
One after the other.
one after the other. Would just, cast the crank in, crank one out, move out, go back in, and just repeated the process for, like 10, 12 casts, and filtered around the boats and kept catching them. It was unreal.
And you might as well have gone home after that, because I think that was your 5 fish limit. I remember checking the scoreboard early and just going, holy crap, he's catching them.
Yeah.
And you did, and that was sort of, you had enough weight then to stave off a fast finishing Kane Waller that day, who was also fishing up the pin there. So they say that when you win an Open, whether an Australian Open, Queensland Open, Bass Open, Barra Open, everything goes right on the days when you win it. How many fish did you lose on that last day last year?
I actually can't even think of one. So,
everything
yeah,
stuck.
Everything, and you know what? I've never got anywhere near 10 off any of those boats since.
Ever before or since, yeah.
Ever before or since,
magic bait,
exactly.
do you catch them on that still?
What's that?
Did you catch them on the magic bait?
It's
rubbish.
Yeah, it's no good.
So it's just sort of predestined to be some of these things, Josh. And Josh, you've been watching this event, especially for the last few years since you've been the sponsor of it.
Yep.
How much do you enjoy watching that live scoreboard? We put the fish into the app, and then our team back on the mainland, they check it all, make sure it's the right lengths. Once they approve that fish, it goes on a live scoreboard. So you can be sitting at home, looking after the kids, seeing how all the guys are going in your event. It's cool, that technology. It's just like the Barra Tour.
Yeah, no, it is. I watched it last year. I think I was doing exactly that. I was either at soccer or soccer Saturday or doing something with the kids, and watch it, and you might watch the whole lot, and you log on a bit later, and you're fishing a flat instead of fishing a hull or something like that. And it's good.
You'd be in between. You'd be slipping sly text messages to Jamie, who's one of your sponsored anglers, saying, "Come on, mate, you're not doing too well. Pick up your act."
No.
Are you invested in your sponsored anglers?
No pressure at all. He should win it this year.
But if he doesn't, what's the consequence?
He just has to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do talk about a thing called sponsor karma in ABT. If you're sponsored by the company who sponsors the event, you normally do pretty well. And it's happened that way in the past as well. You know, your other gun angler, your sponsor, Mark Sarek, hasn't got the time to do it this time. Don't know where you are, Mark, but I know Jamie's breathing a sigh of relief, because we all know who carries that team when they do well at their local events. You know, we always know it's the guy down the back of the boat that does it, not the guy up the front. So the live scoreboard's great. We've been using it for a fair while. I commend Queenslanders, because Queenslanders do not basically whinge about anything. Charlie was a little bit salty when he lost on a count back, but you know, it's an app tournament, so you don't have to catch fat fish. You got to catch a long fish. Are you aware of that when you go out fishing for them?
Yeah, I've sort of factored it in a little bit more this year than I had planned on last year, because I think a lot of those areas that you're going to be getting those fatter fish is probably going to be a lot more pressure, I'd say.
Yeah. And a lot of no use catching the pre-spawn big fat pin 28 forkers.
Exactly.
They're not going to do you any good.
No,
you want to
right.
catch the old crusty tooth 34 forker, which is on he's got one fin left.
Scabs or
yeah.
yeah.
And you just don't want him to have half a tail. We've all caught the ones on the Gold Coast that have got their tail all munted away, and it's like, the fork of the tail should be out here, and it's not. So, Josh, you'd have a few of those living on the back of your pontoon, wouldn't you? A couple old crusties.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
Where is that pontoon again?
On the Gold Coast.
You need to have there's only one thing that works there. It's high fibre, low GI, Baker's Delight. Guaranteed.
Gluten-free?
Gluten-free, yeah.
Gluten-free, they like. Look, it's interesting, and since you do live on the water and the canals and the Gold Coast, do you see a change in the number or quality of the bream as the year goes through? You've been there for more than a year now, so is there a change, or is it just always a lot of bream there?
No, it's definitely changes. Like, definitely as you pull into that moon, they like, you literally a few days before you'll there'll be literally hundreds and hundreds of bream there, and then the next day you'll throw a piece of bread out or something, and it'll drift away, and then and a day later or 2 days later. And I can't work out the cycle. They leave and they go to spawn or do something.
Yeah,
they must go spawn into the deep and then they come back up, and then it's like, there's like a 48-hour period and there's nothing, and then a lot of small ones come back and then they build and then.
Really?
But there's other times there where they're just massive bream, but I don't know. I can't work out the cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you like? You pretty hungry after you spawn or what?
Normally I go to sleep. Yeah.
So maybe that's what they do. They go and spawn, have a sleep for a couple of days, and away they go.
Yeah.
That's like TV, mate. Sorry, this is what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Scripted questions.
No swearing.
The other thing we have with the open events is in Sydney especially, we have a massive number of observers come. In Sydney we had nearly every day, we nearly had a full field of 15, 20, 25 observers. We don't have as many for the Queensland Open. The Brisbaneites aren't as excited to come and sit in a boat with guns like yourself and have a nice little run around, but we will have observers on the top boats each day, and what they do is they will often pull their phones out and I'm going to do some coverage for the Australian Open. So they pull their phone out and they're filming you landing the fish and they're sending that back into Nicole. She can do updates during the day, some social media posts, and we get that really good sort of mobile camera style footage that we don't get in any other sort of event. So an observer sitting there for the day, they're pretty invested in what you're doing. So if you're saying, I'm going to catch all this boat, they're normally sitting there rolling. And the Australian Open, we've got so much good stuff from the Australian Open that we just had in Sydney. We haven't even had time to edit that yet because we've got literally 100 clips to edit, but a great show will come out of that. Likewise, out of the Queensland Open, we'll have highlights. Right in the background here, this is stuff that was all happening last year. So all the viewers can see in the back corner. You can go to YouTube and watch all of the old highlights from all of the ABT events, but in particular, if you want to bone up for the Samaki Brim Queensland Open, this last year's highlights is the one you need to have a look at. So I think it's a great event. Like ABT is all about who shares wins. If you wanted to learn about bream fishing in Southeast Queensland, no better way than to volunteer your time, come for a couple of days sitting on the boats with some gun anglers. They enjoy the company. You'll learn off them, and away we go. Chris, take us through your year last year. Like the Queensland Open was probably your most lucrative win, but you won another ABT event up in Gladstone and then a whole slew of club events down here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so leading up to the Queensland Open, had a good few teams wins. I think maybe
2 or 3 in a row, wasn't it? It was something stupid.
3 QTSs, I think, in a row, and then there's a couple of other small comps that I got the win on, and then obviously got the Queensland Open, which was definitely a career highlight. And then Gladstone somehow managed to get the win up there as well, which was unreal.
It's all about making the right decisions, isn't it? Like, we were talking about when interviewing you for the Gladstone event, you just decided to run to the edge of the arena and fish a spot that was only 2 people fishing. Ironically, both of those 2 people, I think, were in the room here.
Yep.
And that pays off. Sometimes you make the long run and it doesn't pay off, but when you're having a good year, it seems like every decision you make is gold. You know? What do you think changed? Like, say, 2 years ago, you were a midfield finisher. You went in 2023 to be a top of the field finisher all the time. Did you change anything in your technique or your attitude or your preparation to do that?
I think confidence is a massive, massive player. Like, as soon as, like, after that first, I think it's probably I think it probably began at the Vic Tour, where I went down, didn't really have much of a clue about what to do or where to go.
Typical Queenslander of Victoria, we all struggle a bit. Yep.
Just decided to wing it, but then ended up having a couple of half decent finishes. I think I had like a 13th and a 16th.
Yep.
Which I was sort of like, I can actually sort of...
Yeah, in big fields.
Foreign
country.
In foreign country, and I was sort of like, I can probably, can give this stuff a shot. And then came back and won the QTS, and it sort of just, I think the ball just sort of started rolling, and then, it really helps your decision making.
Yep.
Like, you sort of back yourself a lot more when you, I don't know, when you've got past experience to...
You're not second-guessing your decisions as
Yeah,
much.
exactly right, yeah.
And so you're driving down pre-dawn to the event, you're thinking about what you're going to do to win, not what you're going to do just to catch 5 fish.
Exactly.
That's the mentality,
Exactly
isn't it?
right, yeah, exactly right. It's definitely like a change in your thinking, where you're thinking, where am I going to get the bigger fish? Not how am I going to place in this event, but how am I going to...
If I catch 6 fish for the day and the biggest is 28 fork, I'm not going to win anything.
Exactly.
So you just got to learn to leave the fun stuff behind, mate. It's like sitting in the middle of Kinchin catching 60 centimetre barra. Not going to win a tournament doing that, but geez, it's hard to drive away from, isn't it?
It is. It's very hard.
Let's have a look at the field. Nicole, you've got a slide made up of the field fishing the Open. We're just going to have a little bit of a roll call going through here at the moment. Now, this will probably mean a little bit more to us than it will to you, Josh, but having a look through this field here, who sticks out? Apart from your Jamie McEwen halfway down there, he's one of your Samaki boys.
Yep.
We've got previous champions. Scott Sanderland's there. Chris Lonnie, previous champion there. Blake O'Grady. Where is Blake? Blake's there, previous champion. So you got at least 1, 2, 3 previous champions there. You got guys like Mitch Ferris, who won the latest QTS.
He's won a lot of local comps.
He's in form there.
Yep.
You got guys like Matthew Fatafe. He's come second at the Gold Coast event before. Jamie McEwen just knocked him out, so he's the podium finisher there. Sigsy. He won the Tweed event, the QTS this year, so he's won an event this year.
Good form, yeah.
Joel McKenzie, Lance Marsh are all sort of on fire in the non-boaters at the moment. They got some top finishes, so I'm going to put a tick next to him. Little Harry Schofield missed out on winning the Sanctuary Cove comp by how much?
Ooh.
10 grams.
10 grams, was it?
He's been telling us about it all week, little H.
Right, okay.
Yep. He wasn't dirty about it, but he's mentioned it 15 times. Jamie McEwen won the second most recent QTS.
Yep.
Didn't you, Jamie? He's nodding his head. Yeah. Mark carried you, but, I'll count that up against you. And previous champion as well, Jamie. There's 4 previous champions. Look at the first name on the list, Aaron Tracy. He has bounced back quickly after breaking his boat in half at the Australian Open. He literally half sunk the thing. So Aaron's found a new boat, and he is one of 2 interstaters who are coming. So Aaron Tracy and Uncle Wally Fay. Now, we'll talk about this when Jamie comes on later on, but and yell from the bleachers, Jamie, what's Uncle Wally famous for doing after the first day of doing really well?
Winning on pre-fish.
Winning on pre-fish. And that's a nice way of saying shaking on day 2. So, Wally, don't catch all of them on pre-fish day. Save a few for day 2. Well, lucky with the Queensland Open, it's in 2 different arenas, so you can literally burn your stuff to the ground on day 1. You don't have to save anything for day 2 because we go to a whole fresh new arena on day 2. If you don't know how that works, Josh, we have a Moreton Bay day and a Gold Coast day. And usually, if it's similar weather, we'll do the Moreton Bay day second. Yep. But if it's really rough one day and calm the next day, we'll do the rough day on the Gold Coast, and we'll let everyone loose to Moreton Bay on the calm day because it's a big beast. So you don't have to save any fish. Keep on going through the list here. We got guys like Drew Griffith, local, Mick Horn, big red dog. He's catching silver ones, not red ones at the moment, but he's in the office here getting prepped, and they're itching for it. Mick Slade's coming down from Rocky. Oh, yeah. He was down for the Magic round in rugby. We took him out I took him out in the river. He caught a 115 centimetre Dewey. Hopefully he's burnt all his good big fish vibes. And Slady actually is the live-in caretaker here at ABT for those 3 days. I saved him a bit on accommodation. Mark Sarrick's organised him a hot shower. We got hot water this year for him, so he has to have cold showers. so Slady's down. Pete Cashman's a stalwart of the event. Sam Peck, good young angler. Shane Dalton is the only angler there that I don't know much about. It's his first Open. Do you know much about Shane?
I don't.
No. So fresh. Jamie, you know anything about Shane? He's giving me the big cross up the back there. Steve Mars, who's done a lot of events as a non-boater, coming here as a boater. And Steve Morgan, someone who's never won it. So we have a sort of a field there where if any of those guys wins it, we're not really sort of surprised. And that's the difference between the Opens, I think, now and the Opens 10 to 15 years ago. You could, if it wasn't Tristo, Sharpie, Britton and Wishy, they sort of made up a 10-year segment of people who won it. Nowadays, there's a lot of talent there that can do it. I'm not trying to talk you down here, mate, but you did well last year to get to the top of the talent. And but this year, again, it's sort of a packed field, and I'm really proud that 20 or 18 Queenslanders, 2 interstaters have turned up for this event. This is a record field for us for the Queensland Open. Interstaters, Reece did it a couple of years ago. Come up and win the Queensland Open. You can take the Queenslanders' money. It's just as good as Sydney money.
It's better.
You're a Queenslander.
It's better.
Better,
yeah,
because you've won it off of Queensland. Yeah. So if you lose Origin, doesn't matter. You won the Queenslanders' money.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. That's the lineup for the Samaki Brim Open. Thanks for getting that slide together, Nicole. That's awesome. Now we've got a comp tonight. We've got one of our normal little prize kits put together by some of our sponsors. I don't know if Josh is going to maybe pack that a few more things in there, but I've got some atomic lines in there, some bait junkies. I'm sure Josh is going to leave a pack or two of some of his magic here to throw in there. But our competition tonight is right. You've seen the field there, and that field is available on the website as well. Nicole, you might want to put it up again so that people might have their pick. You need to pick who you think's going to win the Open, and tonight we're not going to know who wins the Open, but I want your reason why they're going to win the Open. So pick one of your anglers there, and the person with the best reason they're going to win, away you go. You're going to get a prize. And so you don't have to impress Josh, you don't have to impress me, Jamie, Chris. Got to impress Nicole. She produces this, she picks the winner. So if you can work out some sort of flattery or some sort of way to get Nicole in there, she might pick you. Yes, she is susceptible to funny comments, not susceptible to bribes. Is that right?
Other way around.
Oh, wait a sec, bribes work. All right. I don't know, what do they call it in Big Mouth? Venmo. We don't have that. How do you give cash to people digitally nowadays?
I'm not sure.
Don't know, me either. So no, don't worry about the bribes. Just do some funny comments. And it doesn't matter if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Put your comments down below. Nicole's monitoring both of those streams. Here they come. I know they're going to come in, so there was your list. And pick your guys to win. If in doubt, just pick Chris or Jamie, because I've done it before. But you've got to have something funny to say about them. So that's awesome. Look, that's we might have a bit of a break now. Before you take off, Chris, anything you want to add, mate? Any shout-outs you want to give? You're going down, Pete Cashman. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. No, just wonder this fella here, Sam Peck. Yeah.
He's
so
watching.
He's watching. Is he good? Yeah. Sammy, it's going to be a bit of a juice out on that day 2. We're going to be we're going to be going neck and neck, I reckon.
Oh, sharing a spot, maybe.
Yeah,
Did he
yeah.
find
No.
magic, though? Or do you
Well,
think he's
maybe
just going to
that's
be on the
I
scoreboard?
think up on the scoreboard, maybe. Yeah. Hopefully,
Oh, so that's
anyway.
it. You're not picking yourself, picking Sammy. Okay. That's
Well, yeah. If I had to pick a dark horse, yeah, I reckon Pecky's.
Pecky was
Pecky's
leading
good for a
Malakuta
win.
last year.
Yeah, he can catch him.
In
And
Victoria.
I know he's keeping some juice to himself. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
has Sam got all quiet, has he?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
How was
You
your
notice,
pre-pitch?
you notice on the text, and then leading up to the Queensland Open, it's been bloody radio silence.
Goes quiet.
Yeah.
Got our eyes on you, Sam. We're expecting big things on the scoreboard
Yeah,
now.
big time.
He's look, keen young fella. I remember first meeting Sam Peck at a service station at like Holland Park, and this little kid was like, "Oh, are you Steve Morgan? I've seen you on YouTube." And his old man came across, who we all know now because he's into the bird watching, comes to all the events.
Yep.
And we got a photo taken with little Sam, and that was when Sam was like about this tall. Now Sam's like
Had a
this.
growth spurt. Yeah.
Yep, and he's a big unit, and he knows how to catch the fish.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
it's good to see him come through the system.
Definitely.
Did the events as a non-boater.
Yep.
You did non-boater as well when you started.
Yeah,
off?
I did non-boater. Yeah.
That whole ABT system of getting on the back of the boat and then getting the shits
Oh.
with being on the back and getting on the front, it sort of works, doesn't it?
It's 100% the best way to learn. Just the best way to develop your skills and get your foot in the door. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So there's the pick. You can't win the prize, by the way. This is not
bugger.
yours.
Yeah.
Even though you did have a pretty good story to go with it. Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
No worries.
I think we're going to go to an ad or two. We're going to come back and magically Jamie McEwen's going to be sitting in the seat here, and we're going to talk some tackle with Josh because you've got some cool toys here.
We do.
And sponsor Karma is a big thing in the Open. So enjoy the ads. Going to be back with you soon.
I'll be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory, a friend in unfriendly situations. Less than ideal? That's my idea of a good time. Overgrown, nasty, unforgiving, stumps, roots, rocks, angry winds, and mean currents. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. Lean in, roll up your sleeves, push through to the spots where you can really prove your mettle. Because discomfort isn't a deal breaker. It's just a hurdle between you and hooking in. I'm the kind of motor that'll take you places where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight, where grit and guts beat glitz and glamour. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
We are back. We were actually in the break talking about your comments where you entered the comp to see who's going to win the Queensland Open. But the comments, Jamie, show us the haircut. Someone was saying you got the best haircut. Give us a look at the top bit. Have you got a bit of ball like I have?
Not much going on.
Yeah, all right. Jamie, you're notoriously one of the quieter achievers in the field, mate. You don't have much to say. Has that got a bit to do with your being an ex-cop and you're a listener, not a talker?
No, mate. No, I'm just a fisherman. That's it. Not a talker.
Not a talker. Josh, you've done a lot with Jamie. You've sponsored him for a long time now. Do you find he opens up a bit more when he's talking to you? Or is he still a six word guy?
No. Jamie and I have a good chat on the phone. He comes into work a bit, and he's good.
Jamie, I think you're probably, of the guys fishing ABT at the moment, you're probably the longest one that's been sponsored by Samaki. The relationship seems pretty good, mate. You're still with them.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I reckon I've been with you guys now for must be 9 years.
Yeah, 9.
Close
I think
to 9
it is.
years.
Yeah, we were talking about this
Yeah.
on the Barra Talk last
Yeah.
year. I think it was.
Yeah, and it's
9
just
years.
it's been awesome to start with Josh where he was, and then the development of everything, and see how much he puts into it, and everything's developed. It's really good to see how it starts here, and a few years later it ends up here. It's really good.
So remind everyone watching tonight, Josh, you did start in your garage, literally, didn't you? In your house.
No, we didn't have a garage.
No.
I built a garage, but we started in the hallway of our spare room, and then we had a first child, so I had to build a garage.
Nice.
And then we obviously we had in-laws as a warehouse for a bit, and then
Yep.
got our first warehouse.
And that was in the Central Coast, New South Wales?
Yeah, Central Coast. Yep. And then moved a couple of times, and now we're permanent Queenslanders.
And how big is your warehouse down there now?
It's big.
Big.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. I love
Do
it.
you I look at it and I go, a forklift can't get that high. It's like 2 stories high.
Yeah,
top pallets.
when we moved, funny story, we moved up and we had the moved everything up on these B doubles. Had to get the forklift transport up on like a special trailer because they're so heavy.
Yep.
And then I realised my forklift only goes to like 5 metres, and the new pallet racking's like 11 metres. I'm going.
New forklift?
So I had to buy a new forklift.
Mate, as your business gets bigger, you know, the costs come out of nowhere.
They do.
You know, like, you want to tell us about one of your recent costs you incurred for the company? Maybe when your mobile phone was sitting on your leg?
Yeah, that was.
That's a warning for all of our viewers here. Just
I
tell
don't
us a
think
story about the Queensland cops.
Maybe I didn't get the fine, but yeah. So I got a fine. The phone was sitting in my lap, which I've always done because I was repping back in the day. And
This might save you money, by the way.
my phone was sitting on my lap, and yeah, $1,200, $1,100. I think I got done.
Bang.
Yeah.
Unscripted question again, mate. So you got you twice, didn't I?
Yeah.
But that is a warning because I've been done for the same thing. I've had my phone once on the seat of my car and I was talking through my speakerphone wireless, but because it wasn't in a holder on my car, you get fined. So, you know, if you want to say, look, I think $1,100 is better spent on some Samaki fishing rods than to the consolidated revenue of the state government. Would you agree? Even though they probably paid your wages up until recently.
Yeah, no, I think $1,100 bit steep.
Bit steep.
Yeah.
So, Josh, you know, you're proud of the event. You've been running the event for ages, but now you're on the Gold Coast. You're sort of a little bit more intimately involved. Like in the old days, we couldn't get you on a live show here like this. Some of the cool things we do with ABT, of course, is, you know, guys spend tens of thousands of dollars chasing these. These are the like $5 little badges that we get made, and I'm sure you've got a collection. Chris has got a collection. We all collect these badges, and because these are just a bit of a token and a reminder of how they were, but they all have the naming, sponsors, livery on them there. And more recently, the big checks here. I know we won't pick it up right now, but you know the Happy Gilmore novelty checks.
Yeah,
you got a few of them in your garage, don't you?
Very cool.
Yeah, guys love collecting those things, and to the point where we have barra events and we have one check for 2 people. I get people around, can you make us another check? I want one for my garage. So FYI, if you win a barra event, you want another check, $50 and we'll make you another one. That's what they cost us to do. So we'll get it made for you. I know Adam Mears got his Tinaroo replica at the last Bass event because he was like, I want one in the man cave. You know? So they are very well sought after, as well as the $5,000 to go with it. So hey Chris, what did your $5,000 go on last year, mate? More tackle or to the missus?
Maybe a bit of both.
Bit of both?
Yeah.
So did you go home and say, $1,200, here it is?
Yeah.
We give away cash nowadays, so it's like, there you go. There's your 500, is my 500. That's how it works.
Hide the check though.
You got to hide. Yeah, this one has to then go to your partner or somewhere
Drop a
else.
zero.
Yeah. Josh, you started making sort of some fairly generic tackle, but increasingly you're making more and more specialised stuff. You know, we love using your stuff in the Barra Tour. Those Samaki DS80 Redics have turned me from an ordinary barra fisherman into a good barra fisherman. I love it. But you're really focusing nowadays on some of the more finesse stuff that the brim guys are really going to love. So maybe take us through some of the process and some of the product that you have for these rods here. These look a little bit different from everything else I've seen from you recently.
Yeah, that's we've always made like I've always been like good quality components. Very like all round actions. And then as we've progressed, we make more specific actions for different techniques. And as we're growing and making more lures, and things change, you know, lure changes.
Tastes in lures
change, you know. So you go from doing. So now we're making, instead of just having an extra fast 7-foot action, we are now, you know, developing in not just brim but in barra last year as well. But yeah, so these 4 particular are designed for brim fishing. And they basically can cover, if you have these 4 rods on your deck, you can pretty much catch everything.
Jamie, have you had much to do with the design of these things? Are these suiting some of your styles?
Spoke to Josh a bit over the production and stuff, and I used the 7.4 and the 7 in Hawkesbury fishing crabs hard up on the rocks, and I was only talking to Josh about it today, and they're good because you're using small hooks and you're in hard country, but if you use a really stiff rod, you're going to pull the hooks every time. So these rods they're really good because they've got enough tip in them to get them out, but not pull the hooks out at the same time. So
it's a balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Josh, you've always made you're pretty proud of using all the right components on your rods here. You make sure they balance well and they're good quality. And I know that in your boat you're using some of your old Samaki rods that must be 9 years old from your first spino. Mate. Still got them on there.
He's got an old rod there, don't you? You got a rod there. It's like
I've
one
got
of the OGs.
Is it K2?
Yeah,
the old
K2.
It's like just my favourite top water rod. And Josh actually asked me back, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can pup." But
1,000 fish down the track, you've got a sentimental attachment.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome rod. But from where things have gone to where they are now, it's just amazing. Like the just to hold the rods and an old rod, it's like so much time's gone into the design and the weight.
And look, we've all been involved in the industry for a long time, but for me, how I explain it to people is last year's $500 rod is next year's $250 rod. It's like the weight's coming down, the quality goes up.
Yeah.
You look at the $500 rods from 10 years ago, they wouldn't even hold a candle to these rods today. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a really great rod nowadays.
You don't. We're saying this, so like our old premium range C12 is a $400 rod. This new series here is $250 rod.
Yep.
And
they're knocking for $6.
It's literally like you cannot, if you close your eyes, you can't tell the difference now. You know.
Yeah. And I don't know where it's going to stop because it's been that way for the last 15 years.
It has.
It's sort of still going. Same with reels. You know, we see with like Daiwas over the years. Yeah, the features like the mag seals and the reels and all those high end features just keep on coming down the line. The features that were in the exists 5 to 10 years ago are now in the $200 reels.
Yep.
So you know we're sort of spoilt really because we're getting like everything else in life we're getting. Paying more, getting less.
Yeah.
Tackle, we're sort of paying less and getting more.
Yeah,
it's sort of
so,
it's not just a sales pitch.
Yeah, no,
it's
true.
actually what's happening in the
It is
market.
true, yeah.
Just same as with lures. You know, 10 years ago I had to buy a lure. I'd have to take the hooks off it,
Yeah.
put proper chemically sharpened hooks on, maybe upgrade the split rings, maybe play with some weight. Nowadays, if I'm worried about my lure, I just get a brand new Reddick say and pull it out of the box. I know it's going to be great. It's going to have the right hooks on it. It's going to fish straight out of the box, and it's like I ain't got time to do all the tackle junkie stuff anymore. I just want to catch fish. So I find that a lot. Mate, tell us about some of your other products you got here. When are these? Are these an after come out or are these out now?
They're out now. So they're just
Okay.
new into things. So it was a big push here, obviously for the Open. We wanted to make specific rods for the brim scene.
So what are the 4 actions that you've got here for the 4 sort of techniques?
So we've got 2 7-footers. So we've basically got a 7-foot extra fast. Obviously good for throwing plastics around tight structure.
Yeah, and setting
canals
hooks
and setting hooks. There's also a 7-footer. Obviously, don't want it too long because you're still fishing structure for accuracy and throwing under ropes and all that sort of stuff for obviously fishing small cranks. So it's a moderate fast action.
Yep, bit softer, so you're not pulling hooks out.
Bit softer for pulling out those size we're size 10 really up to 14 or 16 size treble. They're pretty small.
Yep.
A brand new 7'4". So this is like Jamie's talking about the K2 before. So this is like a bit of a hybrid rod. So this is basically designed for flats crank fishing.
Bit of extra length with
bit
the
extra
cast
length.
length.
Yeah, moderate fast action as well. So great casting rod, but obviously keeping the long casts and still can keep fish pinned. With tiny trebles.
Keeping it in.
And this rod 7.6 is actually one of our. It's the OG. It's actually a 7'6". We call it a flats rod originally.
Yep.
Great for throwing unweighted plastics. It's got a solid tip in it, so it's like a light version of like Jamie's favourite K2.
Yep.
And it was like that kind of gave us our name when I bought this rod out. There was kind of nothing on the market 10 years ago.
Yep.
But as we've kept the same action, but obviously the carbon fibre has just literally
gets
just
lighter
increased.
and
So we just basically upgrade the mandrel to suit the same action every year, and now it's probably half the weight of it originally was.
That's what I use for aquas on a worm hook. That sort of.
Unweighted plastic. Right.
So this has got all your techniques all covered, mate.
Yeah,
if it's not a crab, an aqua, and a crank, you ain't fishing it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So they're in store already, and for that mid $200 marks, you're in.
Yeah.
Take us through some of the other stuff you got. Let's start with the X-Braid stuff.
Yep.
I know you're a super fan of the X-Braid, and every time we run an event, it seems more and more people are using it. They love the thinness for the strength, and just quietly, all of the 90s are loving the X-Braid trophy brim packs that they get. They're all lined up at the event. Oh, weigh that one in my bag to see if it's a kilo. 980 grams. No, I missed out on my Swill X-Braid. Guess what? You can go buy some from the shop. That's still an option.
For sure.
So tell us about what we got here, Josh. What's the goss?
X-Braid upgrade has been, and we've just had huge feedback, and it's sold extremely well. And that's in the braid type, and it's #1 in Japan now.
Yep.
So they've actually now brought out an upgrade leader.
A leader.
To
match the braid?
To match the braid. So it's just basically their upgrade is like their premium level.
Yep.
And they've just brought out this. So it's an extra hard, they call it an upgrade V12 leader.
Yep.
They bring out a few monos and that, but this one really suited the Australian market. We brought them all out, tested them all. And this one, so this is a bit of a sneak preview before after this year.
All right, so this is an after release?
It's an after release, but we just
get
thought
the good oil here.
We just thought we're getting pretty close to it now, and makes perfect sense to sort of show there's no secrets here. So it'll be released after this year.
And I'll tell you what, we spend a lot of money on boats, motors, accommodation, petrol, rods, lures. If this fails you, multi-$1,000 investment in a tournament is down the toilet.
Yeah.
So this is literally one of the most important bits of stuff you can get.
100%,
And guys don't mind paying like $1 a metre for this stuff because literally it's false economy going cheap on your litre, isn't it?
Yeah.
So have you tried some of this out, Jamie, yet?
Not yet, no.
He hasn't even given you any.
No, so that's all I was just going to slip out of the pocket, actually.
How likely would you be to tie on a brand new leader on the first day of a Queensland Open?
Pretty likely, yeah, definitely.
See, confidence in the brand.
Yeah, this is good
Yeah.
stuff.
Because we noticed that in fishing lines, and I'm sure everyone down the camera here thinks the same, once you've got your favourite fishing line, you don't really want to go chopping and changing. And Japanese have got a bit of a tendency to like want to release different brands and different packaging and mix it up a lot. In Australia, man, you've got to keep that line pretty similar because once you've got your favourite, I better be able to buy that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And once you get people across the line one at a time for the X-Spray, you get guys that are just not going to want to use anything else. So,
Sure.
so that's the process. And it's like got a lot of trust in your line, don't you?
Yeah. I've been using X-Braid now for, is it 2-3 years sort of thing?
Three years.
And like I've got some reels that like a lot of guys will go, oh no, you need to change your braid every 6 or 12 months because it gets weak and whatever. But I've got some reels that have the original X-Braid on that come in
a couple of years ago,
and it's still catching fish today.
Yep. Josh, you were telling me, I think you've told me before that braid sort of has a lifespan. You know, the cheaper a braid is, they all go great on day one, but come a year down the track, the cheaper ones failure.
Yeah, and it's just price. If you see a line for at the entry level of an 8 strand, it's generally the like YGK, the factory, they kind of break it down to lifespan of the fibre. So a 6 month is basically lifespan of a fibre. UV, sun, salt, water, getting hot, cold, depending on where you are fishing. But then as you go up in quality, like they'll have a 3 year or 4 year fibre. So it'll be exactly the same as day one, and that's that's the product that we bring into Australia.
So the $5 spooler braid you buy off Wish is not going to last you real long.
It's maybe good for a few days.
So if you're only a 3 day year fishing, we get that. If you're a tournament guy, get the X braid. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear that because not many people have told me that story before.
No, it's hard to
Why is
justify
the deer braid?
Yeah.
It's got better raw materials. in it.
Yeah.
Better constructed. So. Awesome. Take us through some of the other toys you got here, mate. We're all tackle junkies at heart.
Yeah. Brand new. Firstly, Fishcraft's like our sub brand that we kind of have. But yeah, these new prawns have just arrived.
Are these smaller than the
the
originals?
3 inch. So we have a 4 inch and a 5 inch, but now these baby 3 inches have come out. So obviously great for bream, especially around the canals.
It'd be good on the deep water spawn bite around
Also
the pin
good on
with
the spawn bite,
with the decoy jig.
In the water, what do they look like, mate? That little that undulates.
It literally looks like a prawn swimming.
Along.
It looks like a prawn. So
your snorkel goggles at home attached to duck mate, because you were having a look at what's going on.
swimming pool. Yeah.
So your brim at your back pontoon are attached to duckable as well, I reckon.
I can get. You normally they're smart. So I put the lights on my boat and I'll go and fish it and you'll hook a fish, and you won't hook another one for like 40 minutes. You'll have to leave them and then come back and like literally sneak up, cast, and you'll get one straight away. But you won't get a second one.
I remember a mutual friend of ours, Peter Pakula, used to live in Shearwater there, and I was at his place, and I think we were fishing the Flathead Classic or something. I go, man, there's some good brimmer in your dock. He goes, you won't catch one of those. So went down, got a pink rub, flicked it up along the side of the thing, rolled it through, bang, got a big one. He goes, you won't catch two of them.
That's true,
He was correct. I spent 3 days trying to catch that second one, just showing wrong, and he was correct. So
it's true.
So the canal, so the canal brim, the guys that do win a tournament in the canal do well because they're obviously hitting fresh fish and they're taking advantage of the first one that hits it. And if they're the right size, they do well. You know what it's like to. Chris Lonnie knows what it's like to crankbait those pontoons. You're a pontoon crankbaiter. You sort of get one chance at them, don't you?
That's
you
it.
Screw it up or you lose the fish.
Yep.
Sort of done.
Keep moving.
Do you ever catch two on the one pontoon on a crankbait?
Sydney Harbour was in the Australian Open. I think I said like there was a few boats there where on the last day I was just burning everything and I caught 5 fish off the one boat. Just kept going round and round it, and they'd just go straight back up. And I was like, I'll just stay here and keep catching.
Yeah, that's
until
right.
there's none more.
But that's unusual, I suppose.
Really unusual. Yeah. It was one of them days where it was just perfect cranking weather for under the boat holes. So.
And that was only half as good a day as Chris had on his magic boat last year. 10 off one boat. It's like, man, I'm flat out getting one off a boat. So awesome. What else have we got here? Got a few more toys, Josh. What's in that box?
A few more little goodies. So I thought I'd bring a couple of little secrets that we're releasing also at the show. Our brand new Bladelicious is.
Tell us about them.
Yeah. So just 3 sizes. 5, 7, and 9 grams coming out very soon. But yeah, that's under Samaki. All decoy hardware, and decoy split rings, and decoy snap on them.
And they've got your own unique shape too. It's a very belly-centric weight, it looks like, on those fellas.
Yeah, we've been through a few different shapes. I've been working on this one for quite a while, but it's it's going to be good, especially on the Gold Coast.
Blade-alicious.
Blade-licious.
Everything ends in licious now, doesn't it?
It does.
How come it's not Redicalicious?
I don't know. Maybe that's the future, actually.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What do we got here? We've got some...
decoy jighead. So our company has just been given decoy distribution in Australia.
Scoop.
So another after release. We've got a pretty impressive growth coming in decoy, especially for the brim guys, right through to bass guys. And even right up to offshore, like saltwater guys. So that's going to be expanding a lot this year. But there are a couple of jig heads that are obviously really popular in Japan, light gauge, to suit the
fine wires. We like the fine wires too.
Fine wires, yeah, especially brim and bass, So, a couple of very secret. So this is
you're bringing out the big guns, mate.
Well, we've got a lot of product this year, so we thought like this year, it's all in secret. So this is obviously you love the Reddick 80 mil. Mm-hmm. So this is a baby 40 mil. So this has been on Jamie's wish list for quite some time, and we brought out a 50 mil last year for the flathead scene for trolling and casting, and this year we've got a 40 mil Reddick coming out. It's got a magnetic cast weight in it, and it suspends, so it's going to be killer.
It's got everything in it.
Yeah, it ticks all the boxes. Very hard to make.
So and that's the question I've got is making a brim lure like a diminutive lure is harder than getting a barrel lure, right? Or what?
Yeah, smaller is harder because there's only so much air, thickness, weight. You got to weigh. Literally, it's all reverse engineered from the start.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I asked you this about the line. If you got a couple of prototypes of those, would you throw them in the open?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome, mate. That is literally. There's a couple of scoops you've had in a row. Didn't think you're going to show the prototype. Didn't think you're going to let the news out about decoy. But ABT Live, where you hear it first.
Yeah, exactly right. Another new one. This will be probably a bit of a. I think you'll like this one more, guys. So this is a sinking prawn.
Ooh.
So 40 mil sinking prawn.
This is like a sort of fills the genre of a stick minnow.
Yeah.
So sinking got the wobble on the sink.
So that's obviously a 3D printed prototype. They'll obviously look a lot more realistic with when the finished product once they're painted.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a new sinking prawn. So this is now that I'm up here fishing more around the canals and that sort of stuff. So we've got a huge range of products coming for brim and bass this year.
There you go. That's the advantage of moving Josh to the Gold Coast, mate. Mate, you come
still
on the Barra
good
tour, all of a sudden you come on the Barra tour, all the cool Barra product comes out, mate. And then you're living on a canal with the brim, we get the cool brim product, So
this year's brim and bass. We've got a lot of cool brim and bass coming this year, so we're pumped for it in the office because it's a new direction for us. It's always been there, we just have to wait for the time. And now this is the year we're rolling it all out.
Well, you are going to learn what all the people that have done well in brim tackle have done over the years. Promote 2 pound line. It's a 2 pound line, you lose plenty of them every day.
1 pound leader, 2 pound mate.
That's it. So you can control this, definitely make a 1 pound in that and get Jamie to say you're not going to get any bites if you're not going to fish on the 1 pound leader. So,
totally.
So look, I think it's great. I think it's great that you invest in the sport, you invest in the R&D for the right sort of product, and you've got exciting product coming out each time. Mate, definitely has come a long way since the hallway in the old shack.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
No, so thank you very much for being a great sponsor. And look, thanks for getting in the car and driving up tonight. This is only the second time I think we've tempted you to the ABT office. And, mate, you buy him a chicken dinner for dinner and all the secrets come out.
It was good.
You're an easy easy equation for you, isn't it? That's awesome. So, look, I think one thing we have to talk about before I give these guys their lead passes is we want to talk a little bit about ABT Angler of the Year. Now, Jamie, you're always my go-to when it's like, who needs what points to do everything? But I asked you the other day, and you weren't up there, so you said, I don't really know. Is your interest in it proproportional to how well you're going?
No. It's always interesting. It's one of them things this year. It's so close with a few of them. It could be anyone's, right? I reckon it'll be like the last tournament will be when we know who's going to be the AOI.
Nicole's got a slide there. You're going to throw that up on the screen, Nicole, so we can have a bit of a look at that. Let's start with Boda, because that's what Jamie knows about, and it's because it's the top sheet there. So we're going to drop that on there. There is our current AOY list. Cromo's leading there. His worst event is now a 91 pointer. I'm coming second. My worst event is an 86 pointer. Then Mark Healy had that great start to the season. He's got a first, a fourth, and he's got 2 mid-teens, but he'll be doing the last, I think, 3 events. So you'd assume he's going to upgrade a couple of those. And even guys like Pete Brukel, who's, he's got 3 top 10s in there. He has a good finish to the season. Literally anyone can do it. And even off the end of that list, guys like Joseph Gardner, he's got 3 top 10s there, and he's got a Blackwood event coming up and 2 East Coast events. So, you could have someone coming up from 20th place to do it. So, mate, that's the summary of it. Who's your analysis on it, mate? What's your pick?
Mate, you've got to go through it sort of like Cromo's, he's won at Tweed. So he's come up to Tweed, no doubt. I don't know anything about the WA, so I know the 3 of you guys are going to WA.
He came second to the last WA event. So that second place, that 99 points at Albany. So small field, but just going there doesn't mean you're going to catch him. But I've got my famous, got my quad donuts last year.
We were talking about this earlier.
I got stung by that thing, don't worry. So it's by no means a guarantee you're going to catch him.
Correct.
But, but it's having a less than 20 boat field is definitely an advantage.
We were just looking at your pictures before. You've won at Tweed as well.
Twice.
So, and I think Tweed and Ballina are sort of right in your hitting zone. But Mark Healy, the time of year, is right in his hitting zone as well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine Mark sitting at the mouth of those rivers, can hear the surf at the mouth, crabbing away at Steersy's expense. And throwing caution to the wind and catching them. So
mate, it's really hard to pick. Like I think it will be out of the top 3 myself, but I couldn't say who's. Maybe after the WA round we might know a bit more, but it's hard to say who's going to pull it out of that top 3 at the moment.
There you go. So analysis from someone who's won AOY twice. I think you've done. So awesome. Non-boater AOY. Bit of a runaway in the non-boaters compared to the boaters. With the boaters, there's 2 or 3 guys close in it. Look at Jono Fitzgibbon there, 441 points. He's had 1 win in there and a second place. Next one down, 414 points. But that's Al Lavelle. Al and Dallas, both long-time supporters of the tour, so they're probably going to do the last few events. So Jono hasn't got it in the bag yet, but it's, what does Mitchy Petty say from here? It's better to be looking at it than looking for it. So good to have the points on the board, having 440 on the board is pretty strong for the non-boaters in the post-Stewie Walk area. Nicole's got a hand up. Yes, producer.
Oh, well, just from the sideline, Michael Sammett's got a 38 he's going to throw out at the Blackwood.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So he's a WA local, Michael Sammett. He's got a 38. How do you get 39 points, Michael? You had a shocker at Malakuta. If you can replace that with a 90-something, there's 60 points more. There you go. That puts him ahead of Jono Fitzgibbon.
I think the big thing with the AOY points is you got to look at their worst result. And if someone's got a big jump that they can have with a load like that 39.
Yeah, get rid of the 39.
And which he should easily do, especially over there. That's
Yeah, and we tell the people a lot. It's not what your best result is for AOI, it's what your worst result is. So, and Mark Healy was telling me earlier in the year, he says, no, you're going to need 5 top 5. It's not even 5 top 10s this year. 5 top 5s to get in the mix. And you look at it at the moment, in the boaters there, Cromo's got that's a 3rd, 4th, an 8th, a 2nd and a 7th. So Cromo will be sitting there thinking, I've got to get rid of some of those top 10s, The same with me. I've got a few 3rds in there, but I've got some 8ths and stuff like that. So you've got to, it's nearly like a full bag and a couple of kickers isn't good enough. You've got to catch a full bag and some more kickers to sort of get you up there.
Looking at the boat, again, I would say you and Heels have probably got the most wriggle room to move upwards to...
because we've got the worst low ones. So, and then back to the non-boaters there, like a lot of non-boaters do a lot of events. We've got a lot of guys now who've got their 5 events on the books. But dead set, there's no one who's running away with it, is there? Like I look in there and there's not a lot of 90s in any of those things. Like he'd be 5th in Angler of the Year, Billy Bland. He's got 196, so he's got 2 top 10s. I
don't mind the look of Scotty Secluna. If he
look at that, 98, 96, 96, and 83. So and he's got 4 in there. So look at that. If he gets in that WA event, he gets a top 10, and I assume he'll be fishing the last couple of events. Come up, Pete
crazy
Bruegel.
Not to.
Scotty Secluna, he's just poised there, ready to pound them. So, well done, mate. You see, I told you got to pick it up those. He's on spreadsheets. Did you used to have to spreadsheet the criminals when you were a policeman?
All the time.
Yeah, put them on a spreadsheet. Did you have like Gold Coast Most Wanted?
Delete.
So that's great, mate. Look, Josh, really appreciate you bringing the scoops in there, mate. That's ABT Live, as is got it going on because we bring you all the good news here.
Yeah.
And Jamie, your analysis there is good, mate. Let's talk a little bit about Queensland Open. You won the event maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Your name's 2019, might have been on there. You always do well on Gold Coast in the teams events. How do you think it's going to size up? It's going to be a little bit of rain around this weekend. Earlier, you were not confident it was going to be a great bite.
Yeah, is there any indication where we're fishing when?
I don't know. You have to ask tournament director sitting over there.
I really don't know. Like it's sort of feeling like it's going to be that deep water transition-y sort of bite at the moment, but I haven't fished here recently, so I'll just go and do what I usually do and probably adjust halfway through the session if I have to, and I'll be ready to do both, go deep or hit the canals.
That is an answer with absolutely no detail in it at all, and it's what I expect. Yeah, that's right. The only answer with less detail is when we interviewed Cromo before the Australian Open, and he was going to play his natural game, do his best, not leave anything in the bag, and do all of those things. But what are you actually going to do? It's like they speak English, so that's all right. We expect that before events, mate. You've got to keep a few of the secrets.
Probably won't fish surface. That's about it. That's all.
Mightn't fish surface. I don't know. Moreton Bay can fish good on surface. Water's still 20 degrees up there.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I will probably fish deep in the bay. And then I will probably do both in the Gold Coast.
So this is either he's hiding something or he's got no idea what he's doing.
That's it.
And that's what it comes down to. Often the event, whoever can wing it the best and stick those big bites will get it done. So that's Queensland Open, mate. It's going to be a great one to watch. I think we're ready to go to our only dial-in for tonight, and we recorded a scene with Joseph Gardner, who's arguably WA's best brimmer. He's proven himself down in Tassie. He's done well in the kayak grand finals, and he's going to give us an update here on how the Blackwood's going to go. Hang around, boys, and you can do the close with us after this segment. Let's go talk to Jojo. Joseph Gardner, arguably WA's most diverse and talented brim angler. I know there are some people that may argue that, but you're the one that packs his suitcase and comes over east to do it. And, mate, you do well when you come over east. So it's nice to be having an event over west where you can host some of the East Coasters and some of the gun locals. Welcome to ABT Live.
Thanks, Morgo. The event coming up is going to be a good one as well. It's my favourite place to fish. Let's
run through it for the people that are watching live that don't know about the Blackwood River. I've been there once before, maybe even twice before, actually. But it's a really big, long, sort of narrow river, lots and lots of natural structure there. And a lot of that natural structure is coated in line-cutting barnacles. There's a few flats down the front. There's grass edges. There's drop-offs. It's sort of there's a bit for everyone, isn't there?
There is. There's everything. Even down towards the mouth, there's a bunch of jetties and some man-made structure as well. So there's honestly a bit of everything.
Tell us about a typical day fishing the Blackwood. Numbers-wise, techniques-wise, what would a normal day for you entail? It's not scratching out 5 legals to try and get a limit. It's sort of, there's quantities of fish get caught in there at times.
There is. I mean, I've had multiple sessions of 300 plus fish days with the bulk of them being legals. I think it probably won't fish that good, but there will still be numbers, more numbers than what you get at other systems. Like the one that we had at Albany the other month, that was, you were really grinding out to get your fish, where I think this one will be just grinding out to actually upgrade centimetre by centimetre.
Yeah, it's always nice, and it's a good feeling in an ABT event when you get your limit in the box early and then you're looking for upgrades. It's a whole different mindset to trying to, scratch out a limit. I remember we had the limit, the tournament at Albany a few years ago where Al Lister came across and caught so many on the first day. He didn't even need to go out on the second day. That's sort of how tough that fishery can be. And if you get onto the right ones, it can put you in the right spot. So let's just put it out there, Joey. What sort of weight for a 5-fish limit per day are you going to need to win the Blackwood, you reckon?
Well, we just had the second round of our kayak series down there, and that was one about the 600 gram average.
So about 3 kegs a day?
Yeah, probably slightly under that, I think, the way it's fishing. I think you got to be pretty lucky to get 3 kilos there at the moment for 5 fish.
So it's like lots of the rest of the country, 2.5 kilos a day is going to have you up there. I remember I did the stats maybe 15 years ago, and I worked out if you caught 2.5 kilos a day, every tournament in Australia, you'd win something like $12,000 for the year or something. It was. I remember when I did the stats, it doesn't sound like a lot of fish, but if you consistently can get it, it always sort of puts you up there. Even today, even the era, with cranker crabs and mussels now in the equation, it's still a healthy bag, 2.5 kilos a day.
Definitely, especially on the Blackwood at the moment. I mean, two and a half is probably more your one kicker, and then an average of 450 odd grams for the rest of the fish.
Yep.
That's what a lot of people are catching at the moment.
Take us through. We've engineered the qualifying structure so that WA is its own little ecosystem over there, and we take the highest place angler that does well in the WA AOY events, and we also offer the winners a spot for each of the ones. Now, at the moment, I don't think there's any West Coasters in that grand final mix. What do you guys got planned to get a couple of WA anglers over to the grand final? Apart from you, I know you've come and done a few events. You're probably going to qualify with your Eastern events anyway. But how many locals are super hungry to get over to the grand final and have a crack at a $50,000 or $60,000 boat?
I know there's quite a few. There's been a bunch that are going down pre-fishing this weekend coming up. I mean, there's a lot of people that are keen to get over. Probably Alex is the one that's most keen to get a spot, I think.
Yes, and now Alex qualified last year, but we didn't end up seeing him at the grand final this year. It's going to be a bit different for him. He's going to lay it on the line and come across.
Yeah, well, he enjoyed Lake Macquarie the few years back, over and doing that one. So coming over and doing that again, I think would be good.
Now that we've got you on, everyone knows you in WA brimming circles. If we were to do a shout out to anglers, currently when we're recording this, we've got 10 boaters fishing the Blackwood, and we would like it to be maybe 15 to 20 boats fishing there. What have you got to say that the guys have got a boat in WA and they're maybe sitting on the fence fishing a boater non-boater event, for instance? Like you and I have done a lot of boater non-boater events. Take them through how fun it is fishing with a different person each day.
I think you just get to learn so much more. Every time that I do it, I mean, there's even people I wouldn't think I'd pick up anything from. I'd pick up the littlest, tiniest things that make a difference. And you really actually end up fishing with people that outside of tournaments you'd never really get to fish with. Like Blake Littlelow I had in Albany. I fished with him heaps of times before, but he was great. But then Steve Newborough, if it wasn't for the ABT, I wouldn't have fished with him, and he's an awesome bloke. So you actually get to really know the people that you're fishing with all the time. I mean, we've got the teams comps here, so they're all you're fishing with the same person all the time, but the ABT opens it up. You just get real experience with other people.
I remember editing up some of your highlights that you sent on the time you fished with Jesse Roten down in Tassie. It seems like you two guys are having a whale of a time on the boat together. Two keen young anglers whacking the hell out of them.
Yeah, he was awesome to have on the boat. He's probably the best non-boater I've had on the boat. Wants to net his own fish all the time, despite me forcing me getting on the net for him. Happy to do everything for the boater as well. So I mean, yeah, he's up there as one of the best.
Tell us about the venue for the Blackwood. It's based out of that caravan park where you stay on site, you launch on site, you weigh the fish on site. It's sort of Australia's best tournament venue, isn't it? Like if you're organised, you don't even have to leave. You can go there the whole weekend.
It's right. That's one of the reasons it's one of my favourite places to fish. We do the comps there, and everybody's there on the Friday night. Everyone's there on the Saturday night. It's just a real good feeling having everyone around telling their stories.
Now, that's the call out to the WA boaters. Please come and enter. And we want to keep running numbers of events in WA, but we sort of need to see the support there if there's that appetite for the events there. So come out and show your support for ABT. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk about Joseph Gardner's potential AOY campaign. You do well in this event, mate. You're going to come across and do the two events on Tweed and Richmond. You are 100% a chance of having a crack at AOY this year.
Yeah, I mean, Cromo's got a pretty good strongholder there at the moment, I think. And obviously Healy's coming across for this one as well. So depending how those two go over here, got to try and keep them at bay, I think.
Yes, just make sure you're ahead of them on the scoreboard, mate, and then you're doing all you can. And don't think for one second that turning up to the Tweed or the Richmond River without a lot of experience is a hindrance. Sometimes it can actually be a help, because on the practice day, you'll see where you find fish, and you'll fish those spots where all of us locals just fish all of the history. It's like, I caught a kegger there 6 years ago. Well, guess what? It ain't there anymore. So, I think reading the water and only having that in your mind can be an advantage at times. So I think it's an interesting next three events coming up, but definitely the one of the Blackwood's going to be one to look out for. I remember last time I was across there, and I'm coming across this event as well, I was able to get a live stream out all day. So I think we're going to be able to maybe stream again over there, and we'll have a few guys running cameras. I think this event will be the time where we really sort of show Australia how good that fishery can be and how cool a place it is. It's so many different varieties of fishing and so many different ways to catch the fish here. It's going to be a bit of an eye opener, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome spot. I mean, there's honestly a bit of everything out the system, so anyone can just jump in and fish what they know.
Any other news from WA, mate, before we let you go and sell a few houses?
Not really. We've got our Mandurah comp coming up the week before, so all the WA guys fishing the ABT, they'll get a good run the week before, a bit of practice beforehand. Yep. So hopefully that helps. I know we've had the Crown go from the Blackwood a few times now over east, so hopefully it stays here for this one.
Well, let's see how it goes, mate. I appreciate your time this afternoon to pre-record this segment and bring on East v West in Augusta, South.
That's it. I'll catch up with you in a few weeks.
All right, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
So great to catch up with little Jojo there. And look, if anyone is out there, Joseph is looking for a boat to fish the Tweed and the Richmond. And he's very, very comfortable in just a little tinny. So if there's anyone watching live tonight or you know someone who's happy to loan their boats, I'm sure that the guys in WA would reciprocate the favour if you ever wanted to go over to WA. So yeah, Joseph Garner looking for a boat for those two events, and it may have a big impact on his AOY if he does. We talked about it before with Jamie. If he does well in that Blackwood River event, which he should do because he's a gun on that place, then they may be his two AOY events. So if you want your boat to maybe be the AOY winner's boat, hey, that's one way to sneak it in there without even you in it.
Big time.
Any non-boaters maybe that are entered that have got a tinny that maybe not confident enough to go up the front of the boat, JJ's confident enough for us and he can catch them. And he looks after the year too. So we've got a winner. Nicole's picked this winner. It's Duncan Jamison on Facebook. He commented, Steve Morgan, I had to show him how to catch them on day one at the Hawkesbury, so he should be ready for it. Thank you. Duncan was my non-boater at the Hawkesbury. Thank you for the lessons, mate. It was awesome. We both came third. In the end, we were both 8th after day one and both 3rd. So Nicole's picked that out for you. Josh has added to that straight out of the pallet, off the 5th story pallet.
Straight out.
Some of the Dr. Prawns. So all those ones he's brought in tonight, we're going to add that to the prize pack. So Duncan, you have this great prize pack coming out towards you. Thank you very much for watching the show tonight. Josh, how did you like being involved with ABT Live? When it is a live show, not a pre-record.
Well, it was good. A few little secret bombs went up tonight. Bit of banner.
Oof, that's right. Yeah, look, as we get you on more shows, I think we'll get a bit more of the banner. I think I can teach you to really give it to these guys. They're sitting on the chairs back here at the moment. I can't even show you what they look like. They are just lounging in the green room chairs. We're at the front doing all the work. This is like what they think being a gun angler should be. Just guest starring on the show and then sit back with a Coke afterwards.
VIPs, yeah.
VIPs.
No, it's been good. Thanks for inviting me down, and obviously good luck to everybody on the water this weekend, and hopefully people tune in and watch all the live footage.
Well, I'm hoping that Duncan Jamison's right because I wear the pink Samaki shirt like that. I wear the girls' Samaki shirt because Nicole has it for our Barra uniform one of the days. If I wear the pink Samaki shirt, I reckon I've got some sponsor karma coming, so we'll see how we go. Duncan, hope you're right, mate. That's it for ABT Live this week. Your prize is coming out to you. Nothing else to report, Nicole? No, that's nothing for the producer there. Nicole will be back on camera maybe next week or next month when we do it. She was asking, am I in front of camera tonight? No, not enough seats. Boys show tonight.
Boys show, wasn't it?
Boys show. And we're worse off for it, but hey, sacrifice will and mate. Nicole, you're back on next week. You can pull the plug on this thing now because we're all going to go home. See you all on abt.org.au for all of that coverage from the Samaki Brim Queensland Open. We're out.
We're out.